Hey, it's Alan Berg. Before we get into this episode, I'm starting something called Ask Me Anything. That's right. You submit your questions and they could become an entire episode or something that I answer at the end of an episode. To submit your questions, look for the red button at podcast.alanberg.com. That's right, podcast.alanberg.com. Click on the red button, submit your question, and maybe you'll hear it here on the podcast. Thanks. Learn to handle hard better. Listen to this episode, see where I'm going. Welcome to another episode of the Wedding Business Solutions Podcast. I'm your host, Alan Berg. I'm a speaker, author, sales trainer, website reviewer, and I help businesses like yours sell more, profit more, and have more fun doing it. Enjoy this episode. Hi, it's Alan Berg. Welcome back to another episode of the Wedding Business Solutions Podcast. I recently had the pleasure of watching a very short video by Kara Lawson, who is the Duke women's basketball coach. She's a former WNBA player, and she's the coach at Duke. And it's a 2.5 minute, 3 minute video where she's talking to her team about how things don't get easier in life. You just learn to handle hard better. If you're sitting around waiting for it to get easier, she said, it doesn't. You just get better at handling hard, which I guess makes it feel easier to you because you learn how to do that better. But it's really, really interesting. If you get a chance, the link will be in the show notes and in the transcript as well to watch this video on YouTube, or you can look it up, Kara Lawson, Kara with a K, Kara Lawson, Duke, handle hard better. And I think it's very impactful. I think this should be played for kids in middle school and in high school and certainly in college, and then as adults, because we all need this reminder that don't sit around waiting for things to get easier. You get better at something makes it feel easier. You learning to master it makes it feel easier. I remember when I put up that I had hit 1,000 days of French lessons on Duolingo, and I put it up on my social media. And I said, this isn't here to brag. This is here to say, am I really better at languages? Or is the fact that I've done this for 1,000 days in a row what makes me better at able to understand French, right? And really what it is, I don't know if I'm better because I can't compare me to anybody else. I don't have any benchmark. There will never be a good benchmark to say, am I better at a language than somebody else? But am I better than I was yesterday, which is a lesson that I've spoken about, certainly here, certainly in my books, certainly in my life. I learned that when I was doing Taekwondo. And again, if you don't know, I started when I was 39, first degree black belt, 42, second degree at 44, hurt my back at 46, 6 months from a third degree. And we were taught not to go for perfection. We were taught to just be better than we were the last time. And that's what this is. My favorite days on Duolingo is when it's kicking my butt, because that means I don't know it. And then when I get past that point, it means I've learned. And that this is an example of me learning to handle hard better, as opposed to, I can't do this, I'm giving up. And I'm certainly a younger me as a child. I didn't even maybe try something if I didn't think I could be good at it. I didn't want to look silly doing it. And now I don't care. I just don't. I don't care if I look silly. If I want to try it, I'm going to try it. And if I'm able to do it better, great. If I'm able to do it well, even better. If I'm able to master it at some point, fantastic. But the idea is I'm able to handle hard better. And that makes it, when you get to that a certain point, it makes it seem easier. It didn't get easier. I got better. What are you not doing now because it's hard? What are you not even starting because you think it's hard, right? We have to start. Everything starts with one step. What was it? Lao Tzu, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with the first step, right? We just have to start. And then, yeah, it's going to be hard. And anything worth doing is going to be hard. Anything worth achieving, right? Isn't it much more satisfying if it was hard and you're able to achieve something than if it was easy? It's not satisfying. If anybody can do this, is that satisfying? If you're able to get past the point where it's hard and you're thinking about giving up, but you're like, no, I want to get to that point. I want to get to the mountaintop, whatever it is, right? I did a podcast earlier. I've written a chapter about this with crossword puzzles. I used to do crossword puzzles every day. I play other word games now. Wordle and Spelling Bee and others. And I still occasionally do crossword puzzles. And when I'm not getting it, I put it down and then I come back. And yes, it's hard, but when you finish that, it's satisfying, right? Think about if you do jigsaw puzzles, right? You ever do like 1,000-piece jigsaw puzzle and you're just getting stuck at a certain point, and you walk away and you come back and you see a piece like, oh, there you go. Doesn't it feel that much better because it was hard and now you're able to get past it? I think that's the important part, and that's the part of her lesson here. Handling hard better. It's coming from you within saying, if I want that result, I'm willing to work for it. I'm willing to go through that, right? And it didn't get easier. It's not going to get easier. That's her lesson. I mean, she's pretty straightforward with it. She's saying it will not get easier. If you're waiting for it to get easier, it won't. She says it straight out. But you learn how to handle hard better, and that's going to let you achieve these things because you're able to push through it. You're able to slog through it. So please take less than 3 minutes and watch that video and see if you don't feel kind of the same way that I did when I watched it, that I wanted to share that with you. So thanks for listening, and I hope you find it beneficial. Thanks for listening to this episode of the Wedding Business Solutions Podcast. If you liked it, please subscribe to this channel and post a review on your chosen platform, Apple Podcasts or whichever one. If you have any questions about anything in this episode or any of my episodes, email me directly at alan@weddingbusinesssolutions.com or visit my website, alanberg.com. alanberg.com. If you have any suggestions for future topics or guests that you'd like to see, please again email me or visit my website. Thanks for listening.